Hi everyone, welcome back to Behind the Sticks. Back. I think the last episode was 2 weeks ago with Deku. Back. Street Fighter 6 is out, and we've just come off of a weekend. Quite a few events. Well, we're going to talk about those. But to start things off, how are you lads doing on this fine summer day?
It's too hot. It's too hot, man. I'm dying. I'm not used to this heat, man. That's awful.
Yeah, we're going to be low energy because we're all boiling.
Yeah, we are melting out here. Like, I'm supposed to be built for hot weather, but like when it's hot, I tell a lot of people this, right? See, when I visit like my folks in Sudan, right, it's usually like 40 degrees. It's fine. Anything over 20 degrees Celsius in the UK, and it's just like.
Yeah, we're not built for this, bro. Over here, we're not built.
Nah, it's because like the houses and they're built to trap heat, innit? So it's like, man, you just die. It's awful.
And speaking of heat, Street Fighter 6 is now. Sick segue. Street Fighter 6 is out, and we're going to comment upon our week one impressions of the game, what we've experienced, and how we've been improving at the game. Sully obviously hot off of a pretty good placement. So
yeah, absolutely.
Let's just dive straight into it. I guess I'll open it. Sully, what are your week one impressions so far? What have you figured out about the game? Playing it.
So week one impressions. I'm really liking the game. Obviously, I think it's really fun. It's kind of what I expected a week one Street Fighter to be like, where it's a bit more of a slugfest, very momentum heavy. Because you know how it is with like new fighting games, everyone figures out offense first, and then they learn how to figure out to play defensively. Yeah. And my that's good for me because my playstyle is very much like I like to be quite aggressive, I like to be offensive and like kind of overload mental stacks. And then evidently Street Fighter 6 kind of has a lot of stuff that kind of helps with that, especially with Kimberly and whatnot. As for things I found in through playing like casuals and other sets and whatnot, one of the things everyone was talking about, like drive rush or drive meter management. And there's like some fun little mind games in there. So like when you got someone low and driving their close to burnout and they realize it, they start being a bit more frantic. They start mashing more. They start jumping more, and there's a fun mind game to play around that. But one thing I've noticed, and this was kind of almost consistent in all the matches I've watched as well as the ones I've played, is that a lot of games comes down to who has level 3 super bar stocked and ready for that final round.
Yeah.
Like that I've found has been like the decider. If you are like if you win round 1, don't spend a single bit of super. Just hold that shit unless it's gonna kill, because if it goes to round 3, you're going to need it. Because going into round 3 with like no bar, but they've got a full stack of super. Like, you take one hit and it's an uphill battle from there. It's insane. But that's my impression so far. What about you? We'll go to you, Sam.
Yeah, I mean, I'll get back onto that topic about super because it's actually quite interesting. But I mean, so far, I am enjoying the game. I'll admit it straight away, I wasn't the first couple of days. So in beta, I really enjoyed it because we're just messing around. We're having fun, aren't we? You know. But then the actual launch of the game, I was concerned because, you know, there's this pressure that you'll feel, and I'm sure most people get like this. I know some people are pretty good at dealing with it, but most people are like, well, I need to get good straight away. I need to figure things out. I need to get good. And it is a punishing game. It's really, really like scary. So it was quite hard taking a lot of L's, but just needing to chill in it. And it's like I'm enjoying it now. I sort of understand that don't need to take it to heart. I think I've still got some issues with it that I'm sure will probably get addressed at some point, because as you say, it's like we don't even know all the proper defensive tools yet, because everyone's just labbing their offense, labbing their characters, mix-ups, and it's like, you know, everything feels ridiculous at the minute. But there's still a few things that I do think I want to be changed. Like, again, like there's some drive rush animations that we talked about before we launched this, like DJ that we need. I really hope somebody goes, right, okay, maybe we messed up, we're gonna change that. And I think the other thing for me is I really don't like throw loops. I said this before. I understand that within the game, within how the frame data is made, within how, again, the drive system is, the game is very, very much right now a game of overloading the opponent's mental stack. That is the meta of the game at the minute. It's crouch, medium kick, drive rush, and also overloading the mental stack. And having a throw loop there adds to that, right? But I think it's even stronger than they intended, because the answers that we had sort of guessed were correct, like backdashing, aren't actual answers for a lot of them. So, like with Ken's, you can't actually backdash his throw and punish him. He's -2. So you get your turn, but so what? Like, everything's negative. So by the time you press, it's now his turn. So I really don't like throw loops. I really don't. But I am really enjoying the game. And interestingly, speaking about supers we were talking about earlier, the thing I like about that is, I can't remember who it was, but people were talking about how they were worried that level 1s and level 2s, especially level 2s, will not get as much use compared to, especially level 3s, but level 1s as well. Because in my own gameplay, I mean, Luke's level 1's mental. I mean, obviously I'm still playing Luke. I'm looking at other characters, but his level 1's insane. It's the best one in the game, I think. So versatile, invulnerable, beats fireballs, it's great. And you use that a lot for utility, but 9 times out of 10 I find myself for the level 3 and I'm like, oh, I may as well end with it because I'll just win.
I'll just win the game after this.
Yeah, may as well just do it. So, yeah, absolutely. That's how I'm feeling with the game at the minute.
How about you, Boggins?
Alright, so my first impression. So I generally review the mechanic, how powerful the mechanics are, because that's what people like the most. Also the way that you want to interact on defense, because that helps you open people. One thing I've noticed, first and foremost, driver is powerful, potentially. It's very difficult to check and on certain characters, and kind of like the polarity of strength between the worst ones and the best ones is very divided. Like Geef's is awful compared to the strength of like, DJs or Juries, which are, I think, the two most premium drive rushes in the game. And I've also found that drive reversal, which I think is generally good deterrent for like drive rushes on block, is not very powerful. It's very slow. It's punishable on block. I think you can option select around it as well, certain characters. Yeah. So it ends up feeling a little bit inferior to get people off of you when they're spending resources they shouldn't be. So I'd like potentially to see that changed down the road. And I've also found that because of the general lack of plus frames in the game, not every character has access to easy plus frames. Like Shotos are a good example. They're very good, the Shotos, they're not bad, but they don't have many plus frames in their kit. It's very easy to find jump out situations, especially when you're cornered. And you have to cover that very often. I'm sure literally all of us have played against a Ken who refuses to not hold up forward corner after blocking 2 hits.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So your anti-escape options in the corner for like jump overs have to be pristine. Like Sully's really good at it right now. Sully always holds an angle where he can crouch and heavy punch you and maintain the corner. And she also has the ability to dictate which side she lands on after the anti-air, which I think is something very powerful. This game, I think DJ can do it well. Those are some of the few things that I've noticed. And as Sully mentioned with supers, the damage when you have a level 3 stock game right now, I personally feel is a little bit too high, because I've seen Chun-Li do 70% damage off of a DP punish counter, which is absolutely absurd. She should not be a very high damage character, but that is the levels of damage. So those are my impressions so far. I think the game is very high damage. I think the aggressive mechanics are very powerful. I also think jumping.
Yeah, I was just gonna add to it as well though. It's like it's always gonna depend on the kind of player you are and the kind of games you enjoy as well.
Yeah.
Because from my perspective, and I know as well for you, Boggins, that the way that the meta is of this kind of style, where it's very anime, where it's very aggressive. There's lots of mix-ups, drive rush, mental stack. Like it's very anime. There are some players who love that. I'm not one of them. I really liked how slow Street Fighter V ended. Like at the beginning of SF5 is like, yeah, it was madness in it, and it was like some people like that, and that's absolutely fair. But for me, the nature of where SF5 ended, which is not a fair comparison, I'll admit, but I loved how patient you had to be, how slow you had to be, how if you overextended and you really tried to go in, like a top player would just bop you. You had to play really patient. Unless you're picking a very specific character, but like, you know, or characters. But that was how it went. Whereas this game, it's like even characters like JP, like you get zoned out. I mean, that's another topic. I mean, Christ. But, you know, even characters like JP, like, you know, he's hitting you up and you're like, okay, he's a zoner, right? Okay, I understand. And then he just hits you with some mental reset in the air into high-low unseeable mix-up, which juggles you into CA. And you're like, what the fuck am I looking at? You're a zoner. Like, so the game's very much not how I like. But some people will love it. So
Yeah. Well, yeah. Just to add on to that. We need to, one thing I like. A lot of what I'm hearing is obviously also I do agree with a lot. Like drive rush is really strong.
Oh, yeah.
Roll ups are really strong.
yep.
Offense in general is very strong. But one thing I also want to throw out there. I heard all of this on early days Street Fighter V as well.
Yes.
You heard the exact same stuff. There's no defense. Everything is geared towards offense. The game is fast. It's all about just getting in and whatnot. And so obviously Drive Rush is very strong. It's if I had to guess, I feel like if I had to guess what the devs intended with how it comes out so far, unless you're DJ or we'll say jury, it seems like they only intended Drive Rush to be checked at obvious ranges. But when you're a bit close and normal start hit and throwing out the odd Drive Rush here and there will probably just get you in and you get to play. You get to in. But yeah, that's how I use it. That's how I've seen other people. That's how I've seen it used effectively the most. They could make it, and I suppose they could make it checkable and make it more easy. And then obviously we stop seeing Drive Rush in neutral and we start seeing it just purely as a setup or a combo extender, which would be an interesting take. I don't know how I'd imagine. Me personally, obviously I'm biased. I love a fast game. I love a fast game where it's like, all right, cool, can I stop him doing this? Oh, but I feel like he's gonna go try and do this now because now that I've checked this,
Yeah.
I like a fast-paced game, and I think it's more fun to watch as a spectator. And I feel like that's the way fighting games in general are always moving towards. They like a fast-paced, very spectator-heavy, all this spectacle going on, kind of game. And I think you also mentioned it as well, where Street Fighter V ended, it became a very slow, very slow, patient game. And I think Street Fighter 6 will probably head down that road as well. I think it's just week one. I think everyone's still there's going to be a lot of people who are still trying to play Street Fighter 6 like it's endgame Street Fighter 5.
Yeah,
and I think that's where a lot of the frustration comes in. And what people need to remember, the early days Street Fighter is always meant to be a humbling experience. I can't imagine. I don't. There's and other games do it too. Not other than Tekken, but that game gets rebuilt from the ground up. You are tested again. Everyone starts from the same level. It's like Capcom goes, all right, you figured that one out. Well done. Here's a new puzzle. Show them what you can do.
Absolutely.
It's
I just want to quickly, I just want to quickly add to that I have absolutely had that humbling experience, and it's difficult. It's very tough when you go from what is essentially your pinnacle. You're like, man, I know you cannot debate that I'm sick, and then you're getting bopped. I've literally got a 50% win rate. Overall, I'm like, fuck, man. I go into a game and I flip a coin if I'm gonna win. That is a hard reality to accept, but it's humbling. It is what it is. And again, I was saying it before, it is an unfair comparison to talk about Street Fighter V at the end of its life to how slow it was when all the defensive stuff was figured out, when all the anti-tech was figured out, and the game ended up becoming really slow because we found out that half of this shit wasn't real. And obviously the beginning of SF5 was exactly the same. So absolutely, completely agree with you.
The way I started to look at it, because I was like, oh man, a lot of this stuff is it's very difficult to deal with. But I look back for Street Fighter 5 as a comparison, and I don't know if you guys would agree with me, but every fighting game I've ever touched, I've played pretty much every fighting game that's the last 5 or 6. He made me go and try other games more. The first seasons of fighting games are always the worst iterations of fighting games that I've touched. Season 1 and Season 2 of Street Fighter 5, in my opinion, were god awful. Did not like them. I think the game picked up towards Season 3 because it's very easy to add too much of one thing, right? So let's just say Street Fighter 5, oh man, damage is too high, V-triggers are very powerful. Let's tone that back a little bit as the seasons go by. It's much easier as a developer to add too much of one thing and then go, oh, the community doesn't like this. Let's peel it back a little bit layer by layer, rather than make something too weak at release and then go, oh, now we've got to buff it, and then you might break the game for an entire season because you've overused it. Exactly. Yeah. So
I think the only game that I personally thought was a good game when it launched was Tekken 7.
Yeah, exactly. That's literally what I was going to say. Tekken was
the only exception. And even that had problems. I remember
Oh,
that.
that had crazy problems. Are
Yeah.
you kidding me?
That's what I'm saying. I remember
Like-
it launching and going, "This game's actually so gassed." But
Yeah.
like, it had problems as well. Every fighting game that launches has like significant issues that we'll all look back on in a couple of years' time, yeah, and go, "Bro, remember when we had throw loops? Like
yeah,
we're gonna do it."
exactly, yeah.
It was like, yeah, like also like another thing. We all me, like I think me and Soundboy specifically, we play a lot of Tekken. But I wouldn't say we were Tekken players, man. I don't think we felt the pain of Season 1 Tekken the same way we felt the pain of Season 1 Street Fighter 5. And we were just like I think we were just been dabbling at that point.
Oh, we were just having fun. Well, like I
But-
think I know how a lot of these guys playing Street Fighter 6 feel now.
Exactly, and we have to like, as we can sit here and be like, oh man, drive rush this, drive rush. There's probably a lot of new players having fun with Street Fighter 6 right now.
Oh, yeah,
and
of
be like,
course,
oh
yeah.
man,
Absolutely.
this game is crazy.
It's the best
man.
game
There's
ever.
so much sauce. It's cool, and I think we need to like, I think we need to consider that Street Fighter 5 is just not a game for us specifically. It's a game for like everybody, and like a lot of our opinions will be like based on how we play. Like I think for specifically like me and Boggins, I think we're like on opposite ends of like the play style spectrum. where
Yeah, I could agree
I like
with that, yeah.
I like playing a very fast and like I like the chaos, right? Whereas Boggins is very much a very methodical and very systematic type player. So it's
Yeah.
like we're sitting here in season, like, you know what, me and Boggins are literally like those, you know that meme of those two guys on the bus, on
Yeah,
the bus?
but-
We're like so much shit is unreactable, and I'm like, so much shit is unreactable.
I'm on Boggins' side of the bus. I'm looking out that window
It's
and
funny.
gutted, like,
Whereas I'm just embracing it all. I'm just having a wonderful time.
And as an off-the-cuff extension of our thoughts as well, just to garner clicks, why don't we, grand reveal, bada bing, boom, why don't we go ahead and formulate a tier list of what we think are the best characters?
bro, you just fucking sprung this on us.
I really
can't
just sprung
be
this
good.
on you.
I like
Out of
this. I
nowhere.
like this off the cuff. Let's go.
Well, okay, so quickly before you start,
Right, go
other tier lists, almost unanimously, I want to know how you feel about it, say that Luke is top one.
I
I can picture him being up there. Like, here's my thing is, so what I felt like. So here's the thing, right? I'm gonna qualify this to the folks. Every tier list you see online will be shit.
yeah.
There is not.
Oh, yeah.
There is not going to be, including this one we're working on just now.
This
Yeah,
one's gonna be-
This one's gonna be shit too.
it's gonna end up being dog shit. Like, you could argue with it. It don't matter. There has never been throughout the entire lifetime of Street Fighter 5, Street Fighter 4. There's never been a tier list where everyone just went, you know what, that's kind of fair.
That's a good
It's
one.
there's always been ass. Do you know what I mean?
always been something. Yeah.
So, to get back on topic with this tier list, I feel like when people are saying everyone's looks top one, for me, just about every all-rounder seems like a very strong,
Very strong
character.
character.
So
Yes,
like
I
your
agree.
Juries, your Lukes, your Ken specifically. I think those three need to be on S rank.
Yeah, I think that.
Yes,
And
and I think it's obviously it's going to be like personal what you think, but
Yeah.
for me it's Ken out of those.
Ken. I think it's Ken as well. Low-key.
So for S tier for me, so I usually dictate like the tiers upon like what attributes do they have. So like Sully, I'm gonna say if you don't lose a matchup right now, or it doesn't seem as though you lose a matchup, putting you in S straight away.
Gotta be, yeah.
Yeah, my S would be Luke, Yuri, and Ken. Those are my top three as well. DJ is
Yeah,
he's a very like I can make an argument for DJ being there because I think DJ is quite powerful, but I think DJ, Luke, and Yuri, Luke, and Ken overtake DJ
Yeah,
by like a little bit.
The thing about DJ is there's only one thing about him that I actually think is ridiculous, and it's the drive rush.
Yeah, it's the driver.
Like I think if he didn't have that, or his drive rush was worse, he's all right, he's fine, but he's not on their level for being so well rounded.
Yeah.
And just the other tools they've got.
And he does have
yeah.
like some apparent weaknesses, like his anti-airs are a little bit finicky, but more specifically, DJ doesn't possess any long-range cancelable buttons. That's his biggest weakness. He can't.
He's weak to.
Yeah, if he pokes you and you DI, he's dead, and he can't really convert that into much damage. So, do we all agree on the Luke, Jury, and Ken S, or do we have any qualms
Yeah,
with putting them
I
in?
think
I agree with that. I think that's a very clean one.
Which is like, who would you then put as number one? Because me and Sully, I think it's out of those three, I think Ken's the best character. out of those
I
three.
would. It's between Ken and Jury for me. I really can't. I'd probably
Yeah.
say Ken. I think Ken ekes it out a little bit because Ken can get into his win condition off of any hit mid-screen. Jury has to hit you twice sometimes.
Yeah, I was gonna say that, and I think that Ken having a better throw loop now, because the difference between the throw loops is you can actually backdash Jury in the corner.
Oh yeah,
and you do actually get a punish.
Yeah.
So out of the two, it's like Ken gets you at the corner faster, and this throw loop is better, and it's like, to me,
so what's Ken? Is that just like every time a meaty throw set up, you can still like body?
So I think you have to be +5 or +6. Sorry, +4 or +5. And if you go for the throw, if you have a good backdash, so if you have something between the realm of 22 to 23, you're actually only like -1 or -2 after the backdash. So Ken isn't punishable. Yeah, and then it gets even worse as your backdash gets worse. So like Marissa, for instance, has a 25 frame backdash. She's actually negative after backdashing that throw. So she can't even press anything.
She's got no options.
I've been backdashing Ken's on wake up, but I've not been like I've still been able to punish, but I guess they're not doing this correctly.
There is a frame kill for it. I think it's standing light punch, micro walk for like a frame, and then throw to help you get the manual meaty timing. But you have to manual it. It doesn't have a frame kill. But if you do it correctly, then...
And are you when you're up against Ken, are you guys like playing this with them in mind, thinking like, oh, they're just gonna like?
Well, I can't backdash it, so I
feel like the way I play it, I feel like, all right, show me you got this timing done. You know
I mean, I let them throw me for the most part, because most people just give up and they go like, all right, I'll try and meet you now. But the thing is, as well, is he can OS it with if he sees you jump, it's like crosscut, drive rush, and then if you get back thrown, you're straight back in the same situation. And if you try and like jump out and he meaties, you still go to the corner because he'll carry you all the way there. So for me, it's just so strong. Yeah, there isn't really a good option versus Ken's throw loop, and it gets you there so easily.
There is also one powerful thing all these three characters have in common as well, which is they all have a very strong low forward into a drive rush, which I think is a very, very powerful trait to have in this game.
Yeah, I think it's almost meta defining for me. Having a long crouch medium kick into drive rush is ridiculous.
It's very difficult.
I think that's another reason I didn't want to include DJ in S tier.
Yeah, because he doesn't get it.
He doesn't have it.
S tier is that low forward into drive rush, because that's very like it's such a hard tool for like lockdown.
Yeah.
So like it doesn't let you like move at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that's like to go back on that Ken thing we talk about, like the setups and stuff like that. They with the throws and whatnot, and the way they can OS it. Do you guys like really believe in like when you're up against someone? Do you always assume they're going to do the perfect option against your situation, or are you just gonna try and figure them out like as they play? Because I feel like if I'm up against Ken, I wouldn't think that, oh man, he could probably OS this if he wants to. I would probably just like backdash. And unless he shows me that that's part of his repertoire and that he can do it consistently, I'm gonna backdash on them like any other Andy. You know what I mean?
If I had a better backdash, I definitely do. But I have a 25 framer, so even if they don't meet it, I'm still negative half the time.
Yeah. For me, I treat it the same way that when I was playing 5. Is if I don't know you, then I'm gonna check and I'm gonna try it. But if I know you're a strong player, or I've played you before and I remember you and I'm aware that you can, then obviously I'm like, well, there isn't any point. Because I mean, theoretically, at the highest level, I mean, you think of the best Ken player that you're going to play against, and you look at maybe Big Bird or whatever, you're going to be like, well, that guy's obviously going to do it.
Well, yeah,
you know. Cool. But then you're playing against some random guy, you're going to check. That's how I'd. But in theory, I mean, a pro player can show you that this setup, this situation is very consistent. It's very possible to do regularly. It's like fucking hell, man. It's still really strong, you know.
So we'll move on to the rest of the characters. We'll try and clean a tier list up within like a 15-minute mark here.
Yeah. I'll stop rambling.
What are we thinking about other powerful characters that we might want to put into this rank? I was literally about to say
Kami's there, yeah.
She's got a lot of the things we just talked about: crouch, medium kick, drive rush. Her buttons are really strong. Dive kick's really good. I think the only thing she's really lacking is just raw absolute damage off of it.
I feel like Kami's A tier, not S tier, no?
You think Kami's an A tier? We can debate this. Personally, if I were to put Kami in a tier, I'd put her S at the moment. I think Kami.
Yeah, I would agree.
I think she's top 5.
She's on the cusp, but I could argue for S tier as well.
Yeah.
I think definitely on the cusp, but like
I'll put on top of her.
I think for me is that she's too drive bar dependent. So I feel like even when the Kami starts to get going, they're using so much of their resources.
Yeah, she's a bit drive bar.
That like I'm not really that worried. So like really all I gotta do is one thing she has that's like crazy strong, right? Is like that dash. That dash is like again she doesn't move her stance.
It's a weird dash.
It's another really badly animated dash that happens halfway through it. I hate how some of the dashes are animated, and she's got one of the worst ones.
Yeah.
Something that I think is very powerful on her is that Cammy does not struggle to get out of the corner if she hits you. EXDP alone, like her reversal gets her out of the corner. That's really fucking powerful.
She's got great side switching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's about like Ken as well. Ken's got that too. I'm pretty sure Luke has side switch combos with his medium knuckle that he can do. I've seen floating about. It's like side switching. I think is also a really powerful trait in the meta right now because the corner is messed up. One I wanted to bring up as well was, what do you guys think about Chun-Li? Because she has been shooting up in my ranks over the last 2 days.
Valmaster, actually, we'll touch on this.
Yeah, we'll touch on this.
Yeah, Valmaster shooting with her on Assault Mine, and I'm not sure if you guys have ran into her. Ran into Valmaster on rank, but like that character feels like a wall in his hands.
She's very
like you feel like I feel like what can I do? And not to mention TKR also like put on a performance like in Headstomper this last weekend as well. So like Chun is definitely looking like a strong contender so far.
She's got a lot of tools you want as well. She's got like Kazanshu's anti-fireball. She's got fantastic cancelable buttons. She's got like, I think the only thing she's really lacking is a real throw loop. I think it's the only thing.
Yeah, she hasn't got a true throw loop. She's like a Street Fighter 5 one where it's like a micro walk into a throw. So you've kind of got to guess on the you'll walk throw. But like her,
other than that,
she's such a wall. She doesn't. If she had one, she'd be guaranteed top tier, I think.
Yeah. So I think she's like A, but she's up there for like
she's
within your top 5 sort of character. I think she's really strong.
Yeah, over the months as well. I could see these shifting. I could see Chun going to S over the months if like Chun-Li players start showing like, oh yeah, she doesn't actually struggle in many matchups. Actually, she's really powerful.
I think another obvious A contender is probably like possibly borderline S, depending on who you ask. Probably JP.
JP, I think he's guaranteed A. Yeah, honestly, I'd probably do that.
I think with JP, right, he's just one of those characters that like he's only good at one thing, but the thing he's good at is he's the best at it. So like obviously zoning gets a lot of damage,
very high damage.
That parry is also a bit busted.
Very powerful.
That EX parry is a bit nuts. Even though it crosses 2 bars, like the fact that he can like end your life bar with it off of a throw, it's a bit rough.
Yeah, I think what bothers me, honestly, even more than those, because his zoning's ridiculous, his mix-up potential is ridiculous, his everything about him is really strong. What bothers me more than anything is he has arguably the worst hitbox, hurtbox stuff in the game.
His disjoints are a joke.
You take away one of the elements of the game that I'm best at when you pick JP, because I physically can't whiff punish it.
Yeah, he's
so disjointed.
They're a joke. One of the things that JP has as well, so like when you're playing a rushdown character, right? I don't know if Kimberly has this, but like, are there some knockdowns where you're like, oh, I don't get my best situation off of this? You know what I mean? This is going to be harder for me to get my Oki going. Every single combo ender that JP has gives him his best situation. Every knockdown puts you full screen, which is crazy to me, because it doesn't matter what level of jab combo, full screen, base combo, full screen. You're always taking Boy into Spire off of every knockdown, so he gets the engine going every. I think that's.
But this is the thing that keeps him out of S tier for me, and this is something interesting, considering when we were talking about this at the start with drive rush and whatnot.
Yeah.
I think obviously hard times create strange bedfellows, but this is when drive rush comes in, innit? Because that turns JP's amazing zoning into a little like mind game between you and him.
Yeah.
Because he can like put his spike down, thinking that you're gonna stay in place, but if you drive rush, you're either getting a punish counter, drive rush to button, which is obviously like crazy plus.
Yeah.
And even if he blocks it, you're in. And once you're in that close, it's like he's suffering.
Yeah, he's got to guess.
Obviously, I play Rushdown, so Rushdown in general works well against JP. But I think like Luke could do that, Ken could do that, Jury can do that.
Yeah.
I don't know about Marissa. Marissa seems a bit like slow, but I feel like DJ 100% can do that.
Yeah,
Same
DJ
also with Chun.
Yeah.
Like I think just about most of the cast can do that, and I think that's why they keep Drive Rush like as like the way it is, because it does. Like if you make Drive Rush reactable, like what match will JP lose?
Yeah, exactly. It was very slow.
I think I've seen some tech where Jury, I'm sure some other characters can do it. She can Drive Rush and dash through his projectiles. Is that right?
I think it's the ghost or something. Yeah.
Yeah, but if we're talking about matchups that like win or lose, and the guys in S tier, right now anyway, we don't think they actually lose any. At worst, they go even.
Yeah.
Surely, if someone can dash through your some of your shit and just get in resourceless, essentially, that can't be that good. Surely.
Exactly.
So A tier is fine.
Yeah.
A tier is fine. Maybe fix the parry, but even if you fix the parry, I think he stays in A tier.
Yeah, even with the parry being like vulnerable to throws or the bombs disappearing on hit, he's still a good character. I don't think he'd drop a tier just because of that.
Okay, another A tier.
Yeah, I was going to round out the A tier with Guile, Honda, and Marissa. I think all three of those characters are very powerful.
Yeah, makes sense to me.
Dalsim as well, because Crimson's been playing Dalsim and showing that he's actually quite powerful, but I don't have a lot of... I've barely played any Dalsims. Literally, if you want Dalsim like footage, you have to watch Crimson right now. So it's kind of hard to get a feel for him.
I played Garnet, who's that Fang player from Italy.
Yeah.
He's on Dalsim now. And yeah, you know, he's obviously still learning. We're all still learning, so I couldn't make out if, you know, particularly if he was crazy or, you know, bad. We just sort of were figuring things out.
Yeah.
But after watching Crimson... I mean, honestly, I've always hated Dalsim, and he still seems really, really strong.
I think.
So I got to play Crimson Head Stomper. We ran a set. I got cooked. Surprised at no one. He beat me 7-1.
Right.
And Dalsim felt really strong. I felt a bit confused. I don't exactly know how to play that mind game. Because with JP, I felt like it's a lot more obvious.
Yeah,
because it's like, all right, cool, I'm playing around the spikes, and he has to guess whether or not I'm going to drive rush or not.
Yeah.
I feel like with Crimson, but then again with Mr. Crimson, right, there could be a similar mind game, but I've not figured it out yet. He's already on layer 3. I'm still trapped. I'm on layer 0. Come at this with the most like low level denominator on this case. So Dalsim feels strong. I don't know how I put. Let's just put him for A for now, because obviously I think if he was B, I don't think Crimson would be messing around with him.
And without rambling for too long, but the strengths that I found against Dalsim was parrying limbs and drive rushing right after it, and then obviously using stuff like air specials like Flash Knuckle to try and catch him out of the air and stuff. So he's got weaknesses. He's not. I don't think he's ridiculous, but he's clearly very strong, as you say, if Crimson's going to play him.
Yeah, like, I've been a bit lost in this matchup, but Big Bird has been playing against Crimson and been smoking him, so it can't be that bad. But yeah, he's a lot different to his 5 version, I feel, with the new mobility options he's got with like the headbutt into the teleport and stuff. You really have to have tech to beat those things.
Yeah, you do.
So.
Okay, and do we not think Ryu deserves to be an A tier?
I do not think Ryu is very good at game.
So really. I feel conflicted because I get fucking bodied by Ryu constantly. But on paper, when you compare him to the other all-rounders, he's clearly not as strong.
No, he's not as strong, but that's why all the all-rounders are an S tier. But
there you go.
I think if Ryu is still like a solid all-rounder, I don't think he has anything that's obviously weak.
Yeah.
So I think if we're going to put someone like Guile or Chun in there, I think Ryu should stay in there. I think he's a bit more slower than the likes of your Ken, but I still think the damage output and he's quite reliable. And not to mention Ending Walker's still doing work with him.
I think he's personally within the bottom of A. I do actually think he's there, but yeah, I don't know how Boggins feels.
The thing that I don't like much about Ryu is that he has the same syndrome as 5, where he feels like an inferior version of an existing archetype. Like, Ken is just better Ryu in the game. And Ryu struggles to get you to the corner to enable his throw loop. And if Ryu wants strong Oki mid-screen, he has to give up a fair bit of damage. Ken never does this, because he's getting the corner guaranteed with Tatsu, or he's DPing you. Damage loss doesn't feel that bad. Also, one of the things
I don't think Ryu lives and dies with the corner though, does he?
Well, he has a throw loop, and
he's got one of the best throw loops.
Yeah, it's better than Ken's because it's guaranteed auto time meter, but he can't get you there very easily. The thing that I like about Ryu is his fireball game. Fireball game's very powerful, but there's also a downside in that, and I don't understand why this is the way it is. Ryu's buttons are worse than Ken's. That does not make sense to me. Ken has stand heavy kick. His stand heavy punch goes further. And,
I was going to say,
yeah, and his crouching medium kick is also slower than Ken.
Because I was about to say oh, but he's got stand heavy punch, that's busted, and I was like, Ken's stand heavy punch is busted as well.
Yeah, it's also it's more busted. I think Ryu just struggles to find opportunities to enable his wing puns and get really, really big damage like the way Ken does. I would put him at the top of B personally because I feel like he falls in his game plan.
I think he should still stay.
We can put him in A. If we're 2-1, he'll go.
I think we're because I think there's a lot just to be said about Denjin as well as an install, even though obviously might have to give a vote for that. But I think it helps him shuts down characters like Guile. It helps him shuts down having that multi-hit as your items. as well as having like a safe on block confirm. I do think like he deserves like a bit more. I think A tier is a good place for him.
If it makes you
And
feel
that-
better, you can put him in B+.
B+.
Or A-.
I would think
let's keep it simple, innit? Like I hate those.
Yeah,
I'm
we'll just
kidding. I hate them as well.
if Ryu could hold on to his Denjin charge, like if the Denjins only worked off of the heavy versions of his specials, I think Ryu would be okay. But the Denjin charge is really powerful, but you have to give up your entire fireball game to hold on to it.
Yeah, that does concern me.
That's a bit of a, I suppose, yeah.
You can't throw a fireball
Because
because
the
you
thing
get rid
is,
of it.
you can't do regular, slow or fucking medium ones. You have to
can't.
commit to that one version, and it's kind of annoying.
And I feel like that might be a change that we see because not being able to hold on to the charge gives him a lot of his screen damage, the crumple. If they were to let him hold on to it, I think he would be pretty good and comparable to Ken at that point. But yeah, I don't know. He just feels like he has gaps in his game plan. I will put him bottom of A. I'm completely agreeing with that.
Cool.
What do
So,
we
bottom of
think
it.
about the disgusting green creature on the far left here?
So,
I
I have not played enough, but I have seen some absolutely disgusting stuff that
Yeah.
concerns me.
His level 2 is...
His level 2 has a guaranteed gapless nearly 30 odd percent, 40% maybe even chip setup.
chip secret.
It is absolutely insane. It is genuinely ridiculous. How consistent it is, I don't know. But so far from what I've played, his normals particularly I don't find too concerning. But all his stock, if we ignore level 2, has very clearly been put into just being annoying with Blanca Ball.
Yeah.
With heavy Blanca Ball and then like light to bait. I don't actually feel like the rest of his kit is too notable.
Yeah, his ball, he feels like a slightly worse Honda to me because you can reliably play around the balls and his normals are worse. Yeah, the one thing that redeems him, in my opinion, is like level 2. Because level 2 is very scary when you're going.
Yeah.
And the Blanca Toyoki, he has access to a couple of setups. I think it's off of EX Electric in the corner. He has some Blanca Toy setups. They're pretty strong as well, but you have to find a situation to get these first.
Yeah, because if you just do it normally, you can actually hit him and the doll disappears even if you send it out.
Yeah.
So he actually has to have proper meme setups for them. So I think he's alright.
He's alright,
B's
yeah.
probably fine for him, to be honest.
He's probably fine as well. I think Kimberly should be next. I think
Kimberly,
she should
yes.
Yeah,
I think
Kimberly's
she's
fine as well.
Yeah, I think Kimberly's a very solid guy. Obviously,
I think
she's like the inverse of JP in my opinion. She's like only good at one thing, but the thing she's good at, she's very good at. So like, I like her. Obviously, she has her weaknesses, but like I think that's fine.
Have any of us got experience against Manon? I've played quite a few at this point, and I feel like I've got a decent opinion of her.
I've got quite a fair bit now, actually. I've played a lot of like Problem and One Step, and I played Luffy the other day as well. So like, I think she's fine. I think she's really, really easy to pilot. She's got really, really easy game plan. Buttons are fine. I think some of her neutral stuff's actually disgusting.
And it's just good, yeah.
I
think
go on.
I think she's around as good as like a character like Guile or Marisha is. I think she's A tier personally.
I would have put her A.
Yeah, I think she's A. She's a pretty damn good character.
She's a character when she gets to a certain point. You have essentially lost at one point.
Yeah, like if you let her get 3 hits in that first round and then you win the second round, I genuinely think you have like a sub 20% chance of winning that third round because of how powerful medals are.
Yeah. And the thing is, the command grab is not one of them ones where you can, at least for me anyway, I can fucking barely tell when it's about to happen. And I know it's a command grab, but I don't mean reacting. I mean more like you get familiar with situations, you get familiar with, like Lily, for example, you kind of know when command grab's happening. It's after light change, it's after like certain knockdowns. You're like, right, okay, because you don't want to give up the Oki.
Yeah.
But like with Manon, because it's so integral, it happens whenever, and it goes quite far. I can never figure it out. Happens in footsies sometimes, and you're like, shit, I've lost 30%.
So we've come down to the final 4. I'll say I'm going to put Blanca in B very comfortably. I don't think he's weak.
Blanca's in B.
However, these...
And also, right now, the more that I've been looking at him, I think Jamie's in B as well.
I was literally about to say I also think Jamie's in B. And I think Lily's a lot better than I initially thought she was. I think she's also B. I
still think she's the worst character in the game.
You think she's the worst? I think Geef, personally. I think Geef is...
I think if we're going to put Geef in the tier below, I think Lily should be there as well.
I think if you're going to make an argument, the two like arguable worst characters are those two. I think like Jamie and Blanca and that, I don't think they're in the same tier. But those two are the same tier, absolutely.
Would you guys agree this would be your top 5 with Cammy and the DJ coming afterwards? And we have A, B, and a C.
Let's have a look.
Obviously,
I'm agreeing with the top
obviously
four.
ordering-
The DJ's position's the one that's getting me.
You would want to do like that.
I think DJ deserves to place in top 5. As for whether I put Cammy there,
Would you rather put JP there or potentially Honda? Or...
because here's the thing, right? I think like we change it to top 4 and put Cammy back down. I think top 4 is easy.
You think top 4? Okay.
I'd make it top 4. I think top 5 is going to be between top 5. Like top 5, I think it's going to be between Cammy, JP,
And
or Chun.
Or Chun.
Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I was going to say Chun's a sleeper one as well. I think top 4 is a lot easier, you're right.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I can agree with that. We've got an official tier list. Remember, disclaimer, guys, it's shit.
Again, it's
Yeah.
shit. It's
It's
shit.
shit.
Like
It is shit.
we don't have much max.
Do you agree that Lily's at the bottom though?
I think Lily's B personally. I've been playing against Riekman a little bit, and I've been smoking him, but I do think that Lily is decent. She has generally good buttons as long as she doesn't whiff him like he does.
See, that's crazy because I got smoked by Reichman as well, and I still think she's like.
I've not really lost to Lily players. I just think she's kind of easy.
My thing with Lily, right, is that I think if you just stay on her and she can't get her stacks up, that's all you really need to do because that character is helpless otherwise. So then they start frantically trying to get wins up, and then you just play around that. Do you know what I mean? So like the whole game plan with like Lily is like don't let her get 3 stacks up, and because then when she got 3 stacks up you can't play anymore. But if you, it's the journey to get to 3 stacks. And I think people aren't familiar with that yet.
Well, she has a lot of ways to get stacks for because if you let her get a single drive rush in, she has gapless ways to get win stocks off. Like she has a lot of ways.
Well, when stock though, like they can't just like she can't do 2 in your face. You know what I mean?
Yeah, she gets like 1 stock for free. But when she's in the corner as well, if she hits you with a spire, that is win stock. She gets another one for free. She can stock again, so she has like loops to get stocks.
For me, it's outside of her actual buttons. I just don't think she's very scary. Like command grab just ends her entire thing, and she has to get back in again. So I don't care about taking the command grab because it's 20%. It's like it's just a punish counter throw with no OK. I'm like, all right, that's fine. And the other thing as well is the only way that she gets in reliably is win stocked EX Condor Spire, which loses to drive reversal. So it's like, well, I can DI all the other ones, and if you're willing to burn a Windstock and 2 bars, I can also use 2 bars and just nullify the situation. I just don't see that she's very good.
Alright, cool. Now, conscious of time, guys. We'll
take a break. Yeah, we'll take a quick break just to go get some water and whatnot.
Yeah, rehydrate.
Sounds good.
So that's our tier list, guys. I hope you enjoyed. We'll post this on Twitter to get clicks. Don't worry.
It's whack.
We'll be back in a bit. We're just gonna go hydrate yourselves, and when we come back, we'll talk about Headstomper and SML. So be excited for that. See you shortly.
5 minutes.
Okay, bring us back in.
And we back, fellas.
Tagged back in.
So we're just going to touch on a couple of the events that happened this weekend. We're going to kick off with Salt Mine. I've got the grand finals up here, so we're just going to have this background and just talk about who placed. We've also got a head stomper that we want to touch on, and we actually have a top 8 finalist among our ranks for that one. We can get straight into the Salt Mine weekend. I didn't see much of this because of Head Stomper, and there were a lot of game showcase. But the grand finals featured Valmaster and ISDD. If I recall correctly, I think Valmaster ends up smoking him a little bit.
Yeah,
that was a good call.
Valmaster really kind of cooked him hard, and like Valmaster did a pretty impressive run as well, even though we know he's like sick and whatnot.
Yeah.
But I was checking like the brackets on challenge and everything, and this guy lost as his 4th game. He lost to Stiachi Sempre, Kimberly player from Italy, and I think he plays Kimberly. He plays a bunch of characters.
The last time I played him, he was playing DJ.
Ooh, he might play DJ. He switches a lot of characters, but yeah, he plays a bunch of characters. I didn't check who played in that matchup. And then Valmaster had to win the rest of his games. So to put that into reference, I think ISCD won 7 or 8 of his games to get into grand finals. To win the tournament, Valmaster had to win 12 games. It was an insane losers run.
Jeez.
Can't deny him. I mean, he's sick of this. He's sick of this game.
He's very good.
He's Capcom Cup finalist in both Street Fighter 4 and Street Fighter 5. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think at this point we know to put respect on the guy's name in it.
Absolutely.
Certain allegations aside. Yeah, no, I think he played a solid game. So did ISDD. Credits him. Another guy. I've watched a bit of this topic before we got through. Pomnex was obviously playing Lily. I think he's still trying to fill out the character.
Yeah.
A guy that caught my eye just for how he played. Our boy, another Capcom Cup finalist. Our boy American from Poland, playing Luke.
He's actually the #1 ranked Luke in Europe.
I think he is. Yeah.
He probably grinds, man, and just the way he plays, he like when I see him play, he's very proactive and very I think he relies a lot on game feel, because I feel like a lot of the times people will see oh, he got the level 3, and then the commentators would say whoa, reaction. But then you see the set play on, and you start to realize that guy was not reacting, man. That came from in here. Do you know what I mean?
I've actually coached that guy for Street Fighter 5.
No kidding.
Yeah, so when he was going to Capcom Cup, he hit me up and he was like, "Hey, do you mind just looking over some games? We need to talk about stuff because, from one Cody player to another, we were going to share it, and I was going to send him to Capcom Cup with the best chances for him." And you are very much correct with that. Is how he sees the game. We had quite a different viewpoint, whereas I'm similar to yourself, Bogan. So I'm very methodical. I do a lot of theory. I do a lot of this is technically your best option, risk reward wise. Or he's like, nah, I did it because I felt.
I felt like
That's what I'm talking about.
Damn. Okay, fair enough. But the guy's obviously very successful. He's done very well in Street Fighter 6. So yeah, shout out to them, man.
Good on Americans, but yeah, no, just watching a lot of this, there's a lot of stuff getting thrown out and punished. But I think here's the thing, I think he's just playing at the same rate as the game. I feel that's what I'm doing. I feel like as the game kind of mellows down after this, this Warring Kingdoms phase where everyone's just all offense.
Yeah.
I think players like American or myself will kind of be forced to adapt to that. Otherwise, we'll just be logging onto ranked to just getting smoked all day. But no, it seemed like a good event. I think it had a good number of entrants as well. I think it was well.
Yeah, it had a lot of entrants. Yeah.
200 and something, if I'm right.
I think he hit the 200 mark. Yeah, it did.
Yeah, it was definitely over 200.
I can't lie, I actually fully forgot that it was on. I should have entered this. I completely got blindsided by the fact it was on.
I'll be honest with you, I actually haven't been competing. Partially because my schedule's so messed up, but also I don't feel particularly confident at the minute.
Yeah,
so I just sort of been like, if it happens, it happens. If I miss it, I'm like, yeah, no, it's all right. So
I feel that. Well, one thing I need to say, because obviously CPT's been announced a lot, but it's going to be online.
Yeah.
We are very much in the era of online now.
Yeah, we are.
Now, there's not being confident, but you're already master rank. I think we're all master rank.
Yeah, we're all
Yes.
master.
That's correct.
And one thing I want to say, we would probably book a trip for a major without thinking about it, right? Like, oh, no, I'm going to this tournament. I'm going to this tournament. We have an online tournament here with good caliber players, free to enter, and we can do it from the comfort of my own home. So just to ask you, just to put my therapist hat on. So like, when it comes in terms of like not feeling confident, or are you not confident that you could win the tournament, or are you like, what's the goal there?
Yeah, so typically, when you're entering a tournament, you've got two hats on, don't you? Or one of two hats on, where you're thinking, I want to see where I can place, and I want to see what lesson I can learn from it, which is quite a good attitude to have. And the other attitude is obviously, I want to win, right, and see how far I go. You can do a sort of mix of the two. But for me, I'm not confident in my ability that I actually understand the game at a level I'm happy with. And I understand that maybe playing people will get me there, but again, I'm sort of similar to Boggins in the sense of it takes me time of to sit into lab and to discuss things with people and get an idea for my confidence to build. My actual learning in the moment of just jumping in and playing doesn't really happen for me. So I want to do a bit more theory, lab a bit more, talk a bit more before I start entering tournaments.
I feel that, but like obviously you guys are very methodical, and if you're going to look at this like it's a science, right? Do you not think like obviously ranked is just one thing, people just play ranked, but do you not think like how it is? People don't play the same way they play like in ranked that in tournament. So by choosing not to enter like these online tournaments, you say you're kind of like robbing yourself of what could otherwise be valuable data to assist in your methodical like figuring out.
Potentially, that's a very valid point. I think for me, and I suppose in a near arrogant way, if I can say that, is I feel like when it comes to the way that people like to approach like the tournament sort of mindset, I have, even in this game, I have a general feel for, because I have played in tournaments. I played in like some beta and tournaments and stuff like that. That I do sort of have a general feel for how people like to switch up, but it's more my personal understanding of mechanics. But you're completely right. Like it is a bit sort of backwards in a way. Like I should probably be entering them. You are right.
But I think I feel that though, because I don't really enter online tournaments either. Because I personally find them like, I don't know. Usually I just want to sit about and chill.
You
want to learn, and when you feel like when you enter an online tournament, that obligation is there. It's kind of almost takes you out of being able to learn at your own pace.
Yeah.
But exactly. I was kind of interested in hearing a bit more. That's why I kind of started probably.
Absolutely.
The way that I've been looking at it is that, like you guys know me, I didn't play any ranked in 5 because I have frustrated. The netcode got me, and I didn't enter any tournaments. So now when I look at the like an online bracket, I'm like, I have to enter that because we're in a golden age where it works. I just have to enter them now. But yeah, I'm
imagine.
Yeah, literally, I could just enter tournaments there and not get angry because I've seen a Spain flag or something. It's like it's crazy.
We started with
like Saltmine for me, especially in Street Fighter 6's lifespan, I think it's going to be a really important series for like Europe to get a level up, because we have very luckily, like remember NLBC in Street Fighter 4 days, where that was like a thriving offline weekly that leveled up like the New York power level quite a lot. Like Smug, as a for instance, was built off of NLBC when he was younger. Yep, like SML is our version of that now. We have so much potential to grow as players just through entering like these brackets, right?
Exactly. The level of talent in like Saltmine is huge. Like,
you got world-class players.
Exactly. You got Valmaster, you've got Problem Crimson, like a number of like extremely
like
top level players. Exactly. And so like realistically, guys, like obviously like people used to sniff their nose up online, but I feel like that's
we can't do it anymore.
We can't do it anymore. Like it's serious now. Our tournaments are online, our players play online, the netcode is good. Like get your ass to these tournaments. So shout out to Saltmine for hosting these tournaments.
Definitely, yeah.
And it's crazy that's come it's crazy that like this is what Saltmine is now. I remember back in like 2019 where even I used to turn my nose up at Saltmine and be like, it's just like a wee tournament.
Well, like because you'd enter it and
you come and go. Yeah.
You'd see that flag in your bracket and you'd be like, well, my tournament run's probably over. I'm gonna lose.
But now, and they run it like weekly.
Yeah, they run it weekly. Yeah.
So it's important that we all give it a fair go. I'm definitely going to try and enter more of these when I
I need to.
Than I did back in the day. and it's also like they're important because everyone's eyes are on them now. So if you want to like build your profile as a player or build your presence as a player, Salt Mine is the like literally it ticks every possible box you could possibly want as a competitor.
Yeah.
Because this is where people will explode onto the scene. It will happen in Salt Mine.
If
It will happen. It will happen in majors as well outside of this, but Salt Mine is probably the most consistent.
It's very consistent. Yeah. If
Yeah,
you
I
want
would
to
agree
see
with that, yeah.
your name uploaded on Fight Club TV, get a top 8 in Salt Mine League, and I swear you'll pop up there, bro.
Instantly, bro.
Instantly.
It's true, man. And
Them vultures don't play about.
That's how you know when you've made it. Like when people start doing that shit, it's incredible.
Like, you could be the next Endwalker, bro, because the vultures love him. They love his name. He gets
He's
clipped.
like gotta be one of the most popular guys ever.
He's literally European Daigo right now. Like, you can't go into a
Yeah.
comment section without someone going, like... I saw in Twitch chat, like... after he got knocked out by Ixion in Head Stomper, someone was going like he wasn't playing serious. Like he wasn't.
Yeah.
He didn't give it his all.
And then
He needs to
People
not let
making
Ixion win.
excuses for him.
For him, bro.
That's that
It's-
next level shit.
Can you just let the bro lose just in peace? Do you know what I mean?
It's because he has like probably one of the best stories out of
Yeah,
anyone in like Street Fighter 5. He came in extremely young, extremely late into the game's lifespan, and started beating everyone online. And you guys remember this? He was like public enemy #1 for a long time when he first started out. You know what I mean? Like everyone like hates playing against him.
Bro was the master of dropping GG's XD in chat. Like that was a villain arc.
yeah.
And
That-
then
that-
chat.
that's
I think for a while as well, people you were getting really annoyed because he was like fucking going into games and like because he wanted Grandmaster really badly. I remember this. And he was like, it was one and done in certain people at the time, apparently, and everyone hated him. Now he's like #1 guy.
Even me, like I did some like shady. I remember once he tried to enter, like I think it was an Intel World Open.
He was too young.
He tried to enter the Intel World Open tournament where you had to be a certain age to enter. And I saw it on my side of the bracket, and I snitched. I'm like, I'm not playing this guy. He's underage. and then like the moderator comes in, and he goes like, he just gets us both in a group chat, and he goes, "Are you underage?" He goes, "No." He goes, "Okay, you guys play on there." I still won. But thank God I did, bro. Because if I didn't, oh my god, I'd have to stop playing Street Fighter 5 there and then.
Well, that's
But,
funny.
like,
I didn't
but,
know
like,
you did that.
Bro, oh, bro, it was such a silly, yeah, bro. I call it IDJ. I was fully snitching because at that time his connection wasn't good. Oh, sorry, I'm holding my sliders there, but his connection was not good. So like that's another reason why I wasn't happy with it. But that's like he went through all that, and now
he went through it.
But I got to a point where he kept on winning, Capcom Cup. And everyone kind of just had to be like, all right, cool, he's probably just our best player.
Yeah, that's it.
He's the best one for it. Head Stomper as well. I wanted to touch on Head Stomper. You were there, so you've got the best account of the event. So we'll probably let you take the floor. How was Head Stomper, bro? How was Head Stomper?
Oh, bro, I was alright.
He was alright.
I was alright, mate. No, so Head Stomper was another huge event. First offline major. Again, I think it had 225 entrants towards the end of it. And I've been to an okay number of majors, especially in Europe. Only in Europe, what am I saying? And I think Head Stomper is probably like up there as probably like the best. It's probably like, it's up there, like the pinnacle for me is Head Stomper now and Brussels Challenge.
Yeah.
Those are the best events I've been to.
Okay.
Head Stomper is so like well organized and well planned out and so convenient. Like you fly in to Denmark, Copenhagen, hop on the train, 10 minutes you're in Sweden, you're in a different country. Only 10 minutes on the train, it's the first station. You get out the station doors and you're at the flipping hotel. So easy to travel into. And the brackets were well organized. Everything ran on time. Like the latest the bracket started was like 5 minutes, which is a miracle. Like now that I've started like TOing back over at Glasgow and whatnot, like you gain a whole new level of appreciation of how to make a big event like run on time.
Like clockwork.
We had an event recently where we had like 55 people, and we struggled to get to its run on time. They had 400, well over 400. And for Street Fighter, again, I can only speak for Street Fighter. Apparently there's issues with Strive, but I don't care about. We don't care about no Strive.
I don't care about no Strive, bruh.
But the brackets ran well, and they even did like a thing which I like. I wanted to criticize them for, where like they wanted to stream all of top 32 on stream.
Yeah.
So like even like the first round of losers to get to top 16, which for me like I can complain about like momentum kills, but the fact that when the brackets were on time, I luckily didn't run into any like software like hardware issues, and like obviously we got that free water, the free coffee, the free I personally didn't take any ice cream. Everyone's enjoying ice cream.
Aww.
All the shops and the food places are like literally like less than a minute walk from the actual tournament venue.
Yeah.
It's like it was so well thought out, just to the minute detail. It's easily one of the best majors I've been to. So yeah, that was my experience of it, like just playing as a competitor.
Yeah. I was a spectator to it, and the production quality for the event was fantastic, and you can tell via the production quality that the venue's been taken care of as well, just because of how even the formatting for the venue, everything looked really spacious and just like decent to be in, because I've been to a lot of venues. I think versus fighting, I love Justin, but that venue is so claustrophobic and it stinks in certain areas when players get mushed up together.
Yeah, well, there's one corner under the stairs I can remember.
God damn, that smelled so bad. But like so sometimes
bro, it's been like 6 years and I can still remember that exact smell.
Jesus Christ, it was well. It was like you had to walk up the stairs to get to the Street Fighter spot as well, and you had to get past that musk every time.
The anime corner.
The anime corner.
Do you remember off topic? Yeah, but on topic rather. But do you remember when they had DBZ?
I was about to bring that up. Oh,
yeah.
that was my. I think that was my first versus fighting as well, and I remember like everyone was just chatting like, "All right, guys, we know it's a fun event, but please bring some deodorant or like take care of yourself when you come in."
It's like a punk moment, bro. It's like, man, you gotta bring some deodorant, man. You gotta. It's
like a punk moment, but this time the folk actually stink.
They actually they did actually stink in it, like.
It was a miasma of filth. Like, it was actually, you opened the door and you were like, I have gotten permanent toxic poisoning from this. This is brutal. Like,
literally, I need a blossoming moss clump right now, or I'm gonna die, bro. My health
you gotta give me this shit.
Oh, days. But yeah, no, I think with the Birmingham venue, you can't understand why it's a bit claustrophobic, because that place obviously isn't built.
Yeah, it's not made for
that type of thing, but they're kind of just making do with the space.
Yeah.
But you know, I mean, like I'm sure the Electronic Dojo guys will try to put on.
Yeah, of course.
The thing is, like, exactly, you just work with what you got at the end of the day, and you know, even though we may have our misgivings, but the venue and whatnot, the event, like, I still always look forward to versus.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah, it's sick. It's the best event we've got in the UK now in terms of like size. But the Headstomper top 8 as well, I wanted to bring up was, it had a fair bit of character variety, I'm pretty certain. Usually these, like, I remember Street Fighter 5 in particular, these first, like, month 1, month 2 events, there was so much Ken in those initial events. Every motherfucker was playing Ken, especially in the US as well. He was a very popular character there.
Yeah.
But in 6, I haven't really seen anyone kind of, like, dominate brackets yet. It's been a lot of different characters. We're seeing Guile, we're seeing Chun, we've seen Sully with Kimberly, we're seeing JPs, we're seeing Ken, we're seeing Ryu's, because Ending Walker's representing that character. I think the only character we really haven't seen is, like, Lily and Geef. I think everyone else we've seen at least, like, to some capacity at this point.
Yeah,
nice
to be fair.
In my route in Headstop, I had to fight 2 Lilies. One was Ethelman.
Yep.
I can't remember what the other one was. But yeah, it was definitely 2 Lilies I had to fight. But yeah, no, like she's definitely there. She's up there in tournaments. But I think for top 8, the breakdown for Headstomper, I think it was Dalsum.
Yeah, Sim, JP.
We had 2 JPs.
2 JPs,
Dragoi, Dragoi, and our boy and friend of the show.
Friend of the show.
We also had Reichman playing Jury.
We did,
yep.
TKR playing Chun.
Yep.
Also, you had myself with Kimberly, and then we had the Junie playing Ken. So I think we had the usual suspects in our top 8. I think for Salt Mine, I think we had Guile.
Guile,
Yeah, Chun
Chun.
again.
There was a Honda,
We
I
had
think.
Luke. Yeah, we had it was Banja, I think it was.
I think it was
We had
Banjo.
Honda, we had Lily, and we had Ken.
Yeah.
I think.
It
I
might
think
be.
there was 2. Yeah, I think we had a Manon as well, but my memory's a bit fuzzy on that one, so don't quote me on that. But yeah, we had well, like so far in terms of the only person that would maybe like come across as a potential union suspect, so we have a Chun and we have a Ken showing up in both.
In both, yeah.
Yeah.
But to be fair, you look at the names as well, and you're like, oh right, of course, that's why.
Hey, exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
TKR and Bab.
Legacy Chun players, they're just very good. But yeah, the character variety has been really nice to see. So I'm looking forward to like. I'm hoping season 1 is quite varied, and we don't just all end up playing Cammy, Ken, Jury by like month 4.
I don't think it's that type of game, man.
No,
I think
really
I don't think people will just stick to like just sticking out with like an all-rounder character, because I think obviously the game is still new and
Very
everyone's
new.
still figuring it out. And I think Drive Rush and like Drive Impact and stuff, all that, the Drive Bar has thrown in a lot of chaos that makes everyone think their character can work.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
It's not like V-Triggers,
So-
right? Because like with V-Triggers, it was very easy to identify which ones were powerful, because it was like, all right, how much damage can I get off of this? Or like, what are my
Right.
VTC options? But Drive Rush is like such a universal mechanic. It works in many different ways. It makes every character look decent in some capacity, as long as you have a half-decent one.
True.
Exactly. So yeah, no, like I think like just the fact that Drive Rush is so like central to like every matchup is that it gives everyone a chance. Obviously, we had like our C tier and our B tier characters.
Yeah.
But they can all
cook.
get you.
They can all cook.
They can all get you. Like 3-stack Lily could mess you up at just as hard as like regular Ken.
Yeah.
Like it's the nature of the game.
Oh,
Absolutely.
So I think they did really well in that regards to design. And the strongest tools everyone has access to. So I think it's well, not but like general like when I talk about like the drive system.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was gonna say as well. I think because everyone's obviously, I've heard from few people that people think Geef is like absolutely ass, like just like unplayable,
Yeah.
like whack. But Snake Eyes just won that massive thing, didn't he? With Twitch
Oh,
Rivals.
Oh, the Twitch Rivals,
Twitch
yeah,
Rivals.
the 50K.
Yeah, and he bodied literally everybody with Geef. So
Geef-
can't be that bad.
Yeah, exactly. Characters like Eve, everyone takes a while to figure
Yeah,
characters.
that's
like
it.
Eve out.
I think
That's it.
So
all of the Geefs in Europe, we have what I would like to call like the logical thinking Geefs. We got Veggie and Quiggy, the two of the
Yeah.
Geefs I can think of. They're very like, oh, I need to play my neutral, I need to whiff punish shoot. And then you look at Japan, and then you got Itazan who's just giggling as he throw loops you over and over again with SPDs. It's just like,
100%, man. That's like I think you need to play Geef. Like you need to like just know how to break someone down. You can't be playing like this thing. You can't. The thinking man's
the
Geef
thinking,
has a
it doesn't
time.
work. Yeah.
It has a time and a place.
Yes.
But Geef, but when you're like the thinking man's Geef, you're not gonna scare anyone with that. Do you know what I mean? Listen, that Geef trailer did half the work for you. They showed you how much damage he does. You should already know. Alright, everyone's just gonna be jumping for fuck. So I'm gonna just try and get in, and like just like I would need to land one SPD and then they're screwed in it. But I was like, when I ran into Veggie a couple times on rank, and he's like obviously very good with Geef, and he's good like finding the right spacing to catch people slipping on SPDs.
Yeah.
But he's playing like it's a regular character. Like he's trying to play like just general footsies. He's like, I'm not going to do nothing until you have a button that with Punisher.
Yeah.
Like that's not what Geef does.
It go crazy. Go stupid.
Geef-
Go crazy.
Go stupid. Go dumb. And like that's why like when you go up and get back, you're like, okay, I'm playing Street Fighter against the big boy. You're not playing. You're not supposed to like. You know what I mean? You're supposed to like have people in the fear like, oh man, I don't know. You want to have someone so scared that they think they might get scooped even though they're not in range. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, they're
that's
thinking
it,
about the
that's the one.
SPD this far away.
Like it's like, oh man, he might running bear grab me, bro. I don't know what this guy does.
Have you seen how fast that shit
It's
is?
very quick. Like, can you explain to me? The running bear grab, it's different in this game. It has like different versions of itself depending on how close you are. Like the closer you are, it gets like a different animation and a way faster startup. And there's
Yeah.
a sweet spot
Yes.
where it becomes like near unfucking reactable when he's like perfectly spaced. It shit is insane.
And I think if you do it proper far away, he gets like one hit of armor, does he not?
He gets one hit of armor on the E. It might be the EX one only, but he
No,
might get it on the
it's-
regular one too.
When he's far away, he gets a hit of armor. When he's
Okay,
closer,
okay.
he doesn't. He's
Yeah.
got 3 versions.
Yeah,
It's
3
really weird.
versions. Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's almost like Abigail a bit, you know what I mean? But obviously it's not as like strong as like him
Yeah,
getting
no,
the
no.
side hat. But yeah, nah, like do you know what I mean? Like those characters, I wouldn't be surprised.
They can cook. I
It-
think everyone can
it-
cook.
it's why I feel bad that like we're probably not going to get to see like international tournaments the same way we had them like back in Street Fighter 5
a bit
because
annoying.
now everything's region locked now, so we're not going to get to see like have folk fly over and show us how these things work. Maybe at the offline premiere events, but obviously they mentioned like Evo is one of them. Then we have one in like Paris in November,
Yeah.
and then there's one in Singapore. We'll probably see it then, so that'll be a fun watch, obviously. But like I missed like the idea of like international players coming to all these like offline majors, and like just showing like coming to character that we might not see in Europe.
Yeah.
I think back in Street Fighter 5 when like Cien came over and they hadn't with Ibuki, and we didn't really have many Ibukis in Europe at the time. And same with like when Oil King would come and hit us with Rashid, we never got experience with that as well.
Bro, that was it's the worst mistake we ever made in Europe.
Nobody
ever picked Rashid.
For that, even though with that mistake, we were like Europe was the best with Laura. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we had the best
like,
Lauras.
no one knew how to fight Laura the way us Europeans did because we had them in abundance. But no, like, obviously everything's gonna be. But everything it's sad. Like that's one of the things I'm sad to see go. But at the same time, like we saw with Headstomper, offline tournaments aren't going anywhere. We have like a lot of online tournaments, which obviously will be so good for the Europe's development as like a competitive region.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think offline's going anywhere. I think offline are going to be just as fun and just as rewarding as they were in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Even if we might get less international travel for them, I think they're going to be a great time.
Yeah, I'm still looking forward to them. I mean, like, again, off the back of Headstomper, you can just see how much fun everyone in the crowd was having, right? I haven't heard a single bad thing about the event other than, like, someone who was like, oh, I wasn't seeded correctly. Fix my seeding, please. That was like that.
I heard some... Was it some Tekken guys?
I
can't remember moaning about the seeding and the way that it was ran, but nobody else.
Literally no one else had a word bad to say about it.
Yeah.
Definitely one of the best events we've got in Europe right now. So 2024, guys, if you want to travel somewhere, very much consider Headstomper. A guaranteed banger. Guaranteed banger.
It's actually like an amazing tournament. Speaking of guaranteed bangers, any of you guys going to Brussels Challenge this year?
Yes, I will be there. I'm going to be at Brussels. I'm very excited for that one. This is like the first time I've travelled outside of this country since I was like 12. I don't like planes. I hate planes so much.
Oh, that's wild, bro. It's a good short plane journey as well.
Yeah, it's not too long. Just every single time, like my family would go on holiday, do you want to come? I would just be adamant, like I am not getting on that plane. I'm staying at home. Really? I apologize. I'm not coming with you. So sorry.
That's crazy because I grew up going back and forth between like home and Sudan.
Yeah, Sudan.
So I grew up used to like
a
long plane rides, and I used to love turbulence as well. But the plane ride would be so boring, bro. I'd be like, and obviously I'm a kid, so I'm like I've got like a short attention span. So obviously when the plane starts shaking, I'm like, yo,
something's happening, bro. Yo, we might die. Yo, we might crash.
Yeah. So like, I guess I'm alright with the old aero vehicle. But yeah, like looking forward to Headstomper. I'm gonna be versus fighting 2 as well. So yeah, no, offline's good. Online and offline are both popping. We are in the golden age.
Golden age, absolutely.
We are literally eating the best we've ever eaten right now, right? So even if you think you're semi-competitive, there is, like, I am not saying this one figuratively, there has literally never been a better time for you to just go, I'm just going to enter this thing. It has never been this easy.
Exactly. And just conscious time, I think we can maybe close it out.
Yeah, we'll close it out,
in a time where online's the best it's ever been. Our online majors are getting over 200 entrants. Offline majors are also getting over 400 entrants across all of the games.
Yeah.
Like, online's good, man. And the game is fun. We like the game.
Mm-hmm.
Can you really... is it... We have to think about times like that whenever we get hung up over... Let's say we have a bad session on ranked and we're like, oh man, this particular mechanic is ruining my time, or this matchup is so bad. We always remember to take a step outside and just think, man, fighting games are good right now.
They're damn good.
Yeah, we're blessed.
I love me some fighting games, and you just gotta keep that love for the game consistent, and you have a great time for the rest of the game for the rest of the game's lifespan, isn't it?
And just to follow that, man, just the remembering that it is meant to be fun, isn't it? Like, and
Exactly.
it is blessed that where we're at right now, and then taking it super serious, but go win that million, bro. Gotta win Capcom Cup is what will kill it for you.
Bro,
That's what will kill it for you.
Trust, exactly. Like, this is meant to be a hobby and a passion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely.
Don't come at this with 9 to 5 mentality and like, oh, go get that money, man. Oh, I can't play this character because, you know what I mean, that character won't win me that money.
No
Shut up,
future.
man.
I got no future in Manon. I gotta pick Jury.
Exactly. The job is
Uh-huh.
your day job is for your money. All right. This is for your fun. Make the separation.
Absolutely, man.
But nah, that was my closing thoughts. What about you guys?
I am just really happy that we have this game now. It's been a really fun week playing friends, talking to new people, running sets, just watching the competitions as well. It's just, bro, this was week 1. It was week 1. We've got the rest of like the 8 years to go, bro. It's just so sick. It's so sick. Like, those are my closing thoughts. I'm just very happy we have this, Brian, because I'm cooking as well. I'll be cooking people. It feels so good. Yeah. What are your closing thoughts, Cal?
I'm the same, man. That I'll be real with you. It's been a bit of a rough adjustment. I have been humbled pretty regularly, but I wouldn't change it. It's been a great experience, and to be honest, I'm looking forward to the future. Regardless of what happens, if things get changed that I want changed, or if they don't, we're in a blessed era. Everybody should be playing, and do you know what, man? Fucking bring on the future. Do you know what I'm saying? Let's do it, man. Let's do
Play
it.
some fighting games out here, bro.
We
We
play
got
some
fighting
fighting
games.
games, man.
Let's get it. Let's get it.
Beautiful, isn't it, man? What shit to talk about, fam.
That'll be it for us this week, guys. I hope you all enjoyed. We will catch you in the next Behind the Sticks. We hope you enjoyed the game until then, and we'll be back when we're back next, probably in the next 2 weeks. So look forward to it.
Absolutely.
Bye, guys.
See you later.
See you, fellas.
Guys, look.